I was a juror on the Donna Adelson trial. If you're asking my opinion, yeah, I think she's guilty in some way. We had two people who said, I'm kind of confused on this one thing. There was that outburst that we all saw.
Of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
And we had to go back to the jury room. Ultimately, what was needed, they needed the visual.
The presentation was pretty cool. I'm old-fashioned, so I don't use that kind of stuff.
Well, I asked everyone if anyone wanted to be the foreperson, and everyone was kind of like, I was like, okay, can I do it? Like, can I please? I was a juror on the Donna Adelson trial.
The foreperson on the Donna Sue Adelson jury has now given an interview to the Mentour Lawyer. Let's watch.
I actually volunteered to be the foreperson after asking if anyone wanted that role. I was like, does anyone want to fight me for it?
You have to love Florida. Most courts actually assign a foreperson. There, they fight for it.
No one wanted to, though, so all is well. I don't want to say it's because I like to be in control. I don't think that's the case. I think just knowing my brain, I didn't want to waste my time.
And George Kaplan was looking for leaders.
Yeah.
He was asking about leadership skills.
Exactly.
I can tell that since I became a creator, I haven't watched almost anything of any kind.
Yeah.
The guy constantly interrupting, talking about himself, and asking compound questions is the Mentour Lawyer. If you want to watch the entire interview, go to his channel.
Yeah, well, I work full-time. You know, I got my 2 kids. They're pretty young, and I'm also a student. I remember them asking her if there's anyone she knows that could have done this, and the fact that she said her parents are the only ones who hate him that much.
Very intuitive analysis by our favorite juror with regard to Wendy Jill disclosing both Charlie Boy and her parents as potential suspects in the initial investigation.
With whatever exact verbiage they used, somewhere along the lines of that. It was like, interesting. You would just rat on your parents or say something like that. I personally would not go hang out with my brother's girlfriend and her friend the second time ever meeting said girlfriend.
That is a unique take by our favorite looking juror. I don't think it's such a big deal that Wendy Jill hung out with Charlie Boy and one of his Asian angels just because it was a second date.
At the beach and you guys take a picture, I feel like that's not normal.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm more antisocial than
I agree.
some people, but
Dumb there hanging out with your brother's Asian floozies, not something we do around here.
It's weird to me. Telling her oldest brother that her parents didn't know about her boyfriend at the time.
Well, they're like us. Yeah.
After they've met several times. That's weird. Weird things that just don't add up. So if you're asking my opinion, yeah, I think she's guilty in some way, some fashion. I can't sit here and tell you what I think she's going to be charged with if she's going to be charged.
We covered our favorite juror's opinion on Wendy Jill's guilt. She claims that her and the entire jury thinks that Wendy Jill is guilty.
Yeah, because we don't know all the evidence.
We don't know.
Has.
Yeah, we don't know.
And the state may have heard from her attorney about defenses to some of the things that look incriminating.
Corbett, who had all the mapping.
Yes.
He showed the route, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She went off the route.
Way off route.
To ABC Liquor.
Yeah. Based off of what I saw, she could be charged. But I do want to preface, okay? For one, not a single member on the jury knew anything about this case before being selected to serve on the jury. Number 2, as far as people's concerns as to me being on social media and posting my TikToks in the last week or 2, there was no rule stating that we cannot be on social media.
Once the trial concluded, old Judge Everett told the jurors they are free to speak to whomever they want.
The rules provided by Judge Everett in this case, okay, we cannot seek out information about this case. We cannot talk about the case with anyone. We cannot listen to others talk about the case. We cannot do anything in regard to the case during the trial. But now that I'm released as a juror, I have the freedom to say and do whatever. But also in that regard, I don't watch the news. It's depressing. I haven't watched the news in years. If anything, I'll check my weather app. My For You page on my TikTok, where I am the most active, is mostly like TikTok shop videos. Like members of like the moms of TikTok community, because that is the content that I typically engage and interact with.
I can't get her out of my mind. Wow. I think about the girl all the time. Wow.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like the way you work it.
I also post that type of content sometimes. You know, just like trendy, funny, like music videos, whatever else like that. Basically like stupid humor.
I'm the person that's gonna cut your dick off and glue it to your forehead.
And then mom stuff. That's what I look for on social media. I'm not breaking any rules. Along with that, I have
Hell no, she ain't.
time before court, during our 1 hour lunch break, during the days of the trial, and then after court to do as I will in regard to all of that. So no rules were broken, no rules are being broken now. I appreciate all of your guys' concern. I'm also going to prove that I was on the jury because there's some of you who's, damn it. Here is my appreciation letter from Mr. Stephen Everett, the
How dare you
How dare you?
question this sister's claim that she was on the jury?
Judge on this case, thanking me for my service. Along with that, my document stating I served in the jury every single day of the trial. I am excited. I learned so much. I stated I was the foreperson, and I was. When we got back to deliberate, once the bailiffs were out of the room and we could, talk about whatever, I asked I asked everyone if anyone wanted to be the foreperson, and everyone was kind of like, I was like, okay, can I do it? Like, can I please? I wanted to stay on point with what we were supposed to do, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want someone else to have the opportunity to be foreperson and then just take us a million different directions. I know how my brain works.
Another day, another slay. Period.
So I was just, very sequential and purposeful with my questions and discussions and what we talked about, whatever.
Plus, we now know the courtrooms in Tallahassee have a room with a cage in it. If you want to be the foreperson, you have to fight for it.
Overall, it took us about just over 3 hours to deliberate and reach our final verdict, right? But within the first hour and a half, I want to say, everyone was agreeing that she is guilty. Everyone, it was unanimous within the first hour and a half. But as the foreperson, you need to be looking for, the different body language, people's facial expressions, all of that, just who may be unsure of something. And we had that. We had 2 people who said they thought she was guilty. They're like, but I'm kind of confused on this one thing.
How great is it that the leader of the jury of Donna Adelson's peers is 25, covered in tattoos, and has a nose ring?
It's like 0.2 on count 2 of her charge, right? So with that, I was like, okay, absolutely not. We are not unanimous right now, so we're gonna go over things. And we went over things point by point, okay? We started count 1. Count 1 was the charge for first-degree murder, and it had several different points that we needed to, address. We went over definitions, we went over principle and how that would apply, all of the different things. We listed out, we had a whiteboard in there, and most of us are visual people, and so we used the whiteboard to go over each point, list out everything that people just said that applied. And
when you're speaking in public, 50% of your believability is your appearance. And whenever you use visuals, it will increase the memory retention substantially.
Whatever. Those people who seemed a little unsure at first, they ultimately, what was needed, they needed the visual.
The presentation was pretty cool. I'm old-fashioned, so I don't use that kind of stuff, but
we went over everything several times because this is a big decision and this is serious, and we all took our duty very seriously. This isn't just fun and games and although it is a very cool experience to talk about now and it's exciting, it is someone's life, and it is the law, and we all took it very serious. So I need people to understand that. And about the 3 hour mark, we voted several different times in several different ways.
And this is exactly why you don't judge a book by its cover or a person by their skin color, even though you want to, because as we see here, you may not think that she was smart enough or old enough, but she had the wisdom to know that she should go through every single juror and make sure that they understood the charges before they voted.
I first had everyone, we went by each count, right? So I had everyone go one at a time in order of our juror numbers, so 1 through 12. I was like, okay, so for count 1, whatever, count 1 in general, is she guilty or not guilty? And I had everyone go one at a time. We all agreed guilty. After that, we did an all at once vote, and I was like, okay, so for count 1, raise your hand if you think she's guilty. We all raised our hands, but it's still doing our duty as we're supposed to. You know, people were still talking, just like, you know, they're sharing their thoughts with each other about the case and whatever. I was passing out 12 pieces of paper for everyone to write their final verdict down. And then I emptied like one of the little containers we had for our snacks and had everyone put it in there. I told people, I want you to be 100,000, 50 billion,
quadrillion.
sure of your verdict. I want people to write down what they honestly feel and think based on the evidence and the law provided without feeling pressured to go along with what everyone else is saying. You know, this is how we can be sure that everyone's on the same page. So write down your final verdicts. We'll go over it. All 12 pieces of paper said guilty. And before I filled out the final verdict form that we had to fill out, we did one more vote. And I went around and everyone needed to tell me out loud and to each other that they found her guilty on all 3 accounts.
What an amazing job by this young woman. She took charge, she made sure everyone understood the process, and then confirmed the vote. You cannot ask for anything finer than this juror.
And that's what we did. And then filled out the verdict form, signed and dated it, knocked for the bailiffs to let them know that we were ready once they got set up in the courtroom. We went out there. You know, judge asked the foreperson to stand.
If the jury foreperson could please rise. Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yeah. That was me. I didn't show the jurors, but it was me. And I signed the verdict form, which I believe will be public record. But anyway, after that, you know, like he read the, what do you call it, published the verdict.
Having reviewed the verdict form, it is in its proper order. At this time, I will publish the verdict.
And then, you know, there was that outburst that we all saw.
The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
And we had to go back to the jury room, and when we came out, because the parties said that they wanted, Judge Everett went one by one, once again, with all of the jurors, and wanted to hear us say, under oath, that we find her guilty. And that is what happened. It was such a wild experience. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to share so much more.
And neither can we. I commend this juror. She did a fine job. And let's hope throughout those 2 weeks she learned that one lesson that I tell you about each and every time we meet. You don't fuck with Donna Adelson.
Any questions?